We are the Catalan Independence Resistance, and you are listening to a new update from Radio Hadrian in Free Catalonia.
Sur Alupa Gubra, or Scotland forever, or Scotland till the judgment. Hope I haven't offended any of the Gaelic speakers listening. This program is dedicated to Scotland and Catalonia, and I wanted to start like that. This is David Rabantos. This is chapter 43 of Radio Hadrian. To tell that here in Catalonia things are moving, though you won't notice that because media keeps being in all Catalan media, everything you get in Scotland keeps being in the hand of Spain. The same way as everything you get in Scotland, it's in the hands of England or Great Britain or United Kingdom, or call it London, call it what you will. But we have started receiving support from people listening to these programs, and more people are opening their minds. These interviews we've done in other media has made it reach other sensibilities. Some people that had lost faith in politics but believe in other ways of life. We got through them through alternative media. So things are starting slowly still, but inevitably to move here. And that's why, because we do this program from Scotland, thanks to KA Radio, thanks to Cheryl Scott and Delia, which is temporarily not broadcasting but keeps supporting the program, that she was the person that started anyways. And this week, basically, we want to link Scotland and Catalonia. We won't do as we have done in the Catalan and Spanish. We have recommended them to visit one of the most beautiful countries in the world, and which is partners with us in trying to get independent soon. I have to say that I'm afraid we are more advanced in Catalonia, as we say sometimes, because I noticed some things happening. The independence won't come to Catalonia or Scotland without unveiling the enormous deception that both processes are. All our leaders are puppets from London and Madrid, and we are more advanced in unveiling that. We already set up our political party Directa 68 is what is needed to declare independence in Catalonia, which we're gonna do unilaterally because that's the only way to bring independence. You can communicate with us in info.directa68.cat, cat from Catalonia, and we'll if you want to join Catalan Resistance, or if you want information about what we're doing, or in the off chance that you might be considering doing an interview, because there's no way to do interviews in mainstream media in Catalonia or anywhere in the world. That's one channel, but you also have the Facebook page of the Resistència of Directa 68, my own page, the group or page of Radio Hadrian. So we have lots of ways. We also have Twitter, and we're on Instagram, and we have the YouTube channel of La Resistència, or in KA you can see the past programs. So lots of ways to communicate with us. We're not gonna say the basic things we've told to get Catalans closer to Scotland when it comes to population and all these things, but lots of times people tend to say, oh, Catalonia and Scotland have nothing to do, and they base it because of constitutional differences and so on. Well, I studied law, that's why I didn't proceed to be a lawyer, because I don't like being a lawyer. Because in the second class in law school they told me that laws are not to make justice, which was the reason why I studied law, because I think you know by now that I'm a person of conscience. But they told me that's to keep things in order, to keep control of things. So you should lose a lot of respect in law and care more about justice, because that's what's important. We need justice more than laws. Even criminal dictatorship, they have laws. So you should respect all that to be in awe of law, and we should focus on justice. And when you realize that Scotland has 78,000 square kilometers, and Catalonia, the Principality, has 32,000, but if you count the Catalan countries, that's around 70,000, so it's similar. But if you control only the Principality of Catalonia, that's 7.5 million Catalans to 5.5 million Scots, so it's more or less the same kind of nation. We have both taken our taxes away, yours in oil and whiskey, and our in taxes directly that companies and people producing in Catalonia, 10% of that goes away and never comes back. Both countries are members of European Union and NATO, so they are facing the powers that be because they don't want us to be independent, neither Scotland nor Catalonia. You had a referendum which was a referendum, and we've done referendums that haven't been implemented, so it's the same thing as well. And both you and us, it's hard for me to say you and us because I feel Scots on heart. I've only been there once, but I've been following your fight, and I started a hunger strike for both Scotland and Catalonia and been closed and tortured for 2 months, so I really feel honorary Scots at least a bit. And we're fighting for the independence of Scotland as well. But let's say Scots and Catalans won't have independence until we accept we've been betrayed by our own side. The other thing we did in the Catalan version is to explain what KA stands for and talk about Kilmarnock a bit. And we won't torture you with this here, so then we'll go to the next thing, which is the question of how everything in Scotland is run by your enemies. We've had, similarly in Scotland, in Catalonia, you've had a majority of 56 out of 59. You've had a majority in Holyrood, and you had a referendum, and you're not independent. And that's simply the only reason, because you have Trojan horses like Nicola Sturgeon, Alex Salmond, Angus Robertson, Angus Brendan McNeill, and anybody you can name leading the SNP, which works for the other side. And that's the way it's done. It's been done like that for centuries everywhere in the world, and that's the way empires used to avoid colonies. That's the way they see us, to break free. We also in the Catalan, but also here, we mentioned what way the referendum was rigged, and it's because there was no exit polls, there's no local counting of voting. That's in the law, but laws, as we said, are not always fair. And the ballots being conducted by IDOCs from Mr. Peter Liley, Member of Parliament for the Tories in London, it guarantees that it was unfair. But that together with the tampering of postal voting, that together with the blank ballots that hundreds of people have sworn that they were blank, and then only 14 votes appeared in the end in Scotland, it means that people voted somewhere, and some other votes that were already counted, it's the official result they've given you. That's the amount of the rigging we're talking about, and that couldn't happen without complicity from the SNP at the higher places. And then we have bets. 75% of bets were in favor of yes, and they came from Scotland mainly. And then you have a lesser number, but with higher amounts, coming from England, betting for no, which is peculiar because no, it was supposed to be an even thing with the published information, but no was being paid 3 times worse than yes. So the only explanation, there's a tremendous case of a guy, they haven't disclosed the name, who bet £900,000 to get less than that against Scottish independence. That can only happen when you already know the results. We're talking insider trading here, but it's complicated because it's not only insider trading, which is a crime on itself. We're talking about insider trading related to a referendum, so it shows completely how the world is a farce. The whole world gets the idea that it's even, but then you have several thousand people around the city of London who know better because they know that it's been rigged. So they, on top of that, on top of stealing you independence, they steal money from you. You're betting for independence and voting for independence, and they know that it's been already said and done, and they're betting a lot of money, and they're mocking you, and still they're stealing your money through betting. But every government in the world knew, every betting house in the world knows, it's insider trading, but insider trading related to a political issue. That's why sometimes voices say politics shouldn't be open to betting. You know why? Because that's one way they have a leak because people are want money. They're stingy. They're greedy. So okay, you are, imagine you work inside a government and you know that some referendum has been rigged, so you can make money out of it, and that the word spreads. So that is one leak they have. So that's why they want to ban political betting, because when the bets show something irregular compared to the published information, it's one super strong evidence that the things have been rigged. So that's why when I see so many of my Scottish friends asking for a second referendum, I despair. When I see United Kingdom moles in social media saying that UDI is not the way, when it's the only way. If you don't want UDI, you don't want independence. Like, if you don't want to get wet, you can't swim. Okay, so that's you cannot say you want independence through a referendum, because that doesn't happen. It's not done. We have Quebec twice, we've had Catalonia twice, you've had Scotland once, you've had Greece, you've had everything, and I don't even think that Brexit will happen. So they rigged you into having the independence referendum before Brexit, and that's a mistake that nobody is such idiotic as to fall for that. So you've been had and you've been betrayed by your own side. Then they came the National that Delhi Army investigated has such strong links. National belonging to Newsquest, but Newsquest belonging to guess who? Gannett. Gannett with severe links with the CIA. Those Gannett which shared once a CEO with Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin, not just one of the biggest arm makers in the world, not only the one that created the big scandal in the 60s or 70s about commissions being paid, but the one that provides the missiles to Trident. So how can a group related to Trident through persons be wanting Scottish independence? No way. And the National was presented in the SNP convention, and until you get that the National and the SNP are the same thing, but are the same thing against Scotland independence, then you're still part of the problem, so you cannot start being part of the solution. This brings to the issue we already mentioned last week about Clara Ponsati being defended by the National, but the National, we've already clarified that works for the dark side. And Clara Ponsati is not what it seems. Clara Ponsati was on Catalan television last night, Saturday, and then accidentally she has this euro order, and then she's getting £200,000 because he was on television the day before. That's pornographic and cinematographic. The powers that are running all this, every Catalan politician you see works for Spain. So they run our media, they run everything, they run everything we love. So they tell Catalan television they have to put Clara Ponsati Saturday because Sunday they're gonna have an action on her. So then she, thanks to the Catalan television, she raises £200,000 to her defense because they all work together. And this woman, we already spoke about her in chapter 5 of Radio Hadrian 7 months ago. And we said she was not to be trusted because she had lied and betrayed us, because she lied saying that the 27th of September we didn't win with a majority, which is a lie. We won a majority of seats, we won a majority of voting on that time. So they should have declared independence. And on the contrary, she's been pushing for these damn referendums, which are the ways of the world to murder democracy while pretending to love it. So Clara Ponsati is a snake in the grass. And then we come to Aamer Anwar, which, as we explained last Tuesday, not last week, happens to be one of the main, let's call it not witnesses, but actors disinforming over the false flag attacks in Ramblas in Barcelona on the 17th of August. And guess what? And on top of that, he has appeared in the National lying, saying, oh, Clara Ponsati is only attacked for trying to do a referendum like it was done in Scotland in a proper way. In a proper way, that referendum, every politician or media in Scotland that hasn't collaborated to unveil the referendum of 18 September 2014 is working for the enemy. And without being able to understand, accept, and recover from that hard or hardest of the truths, there's nothing you can do for independence. While you keep cheering for the SNP, you're cheering for London. And that's why they did that almost Nazistic campaign to push everybody to join the SNP, in which English newspapers collaborated in. And I hear somebody else, oh, they collaborated. How did they collaborate? Well, they kept publishing the swell and the increase in numbers, which is something that no English newspaper would do if the SNP was working for Scotland. Because we live in this cheap world where everybody follows a piper, and reading that a lot of people are joining a party is a reason for more people to join the party. So English newspapers, by publishing that, were actually the best promoters of the SNP. Why should newspapers attack the SNP, that supposedly attack the SNP, promote the SNP? Makes no sense. But the personal relations, Aamer Anwar was in Barcelona because the next day he gave a conference that was presented by Arqué. Arqué is very present in Scotland. She's been contributor for Bella Caledonia, and she was at the Scottish Independence Convention. She is a mole, and actually is the wife of super top mole Joan Vives and Solervicens. So only in this, we already mentioned, we have the false flag in Barcelona, the Catalan process, Aamer Anwar, and the biggest moles in Spain, in Catalonia, but they work for Spain, Arqué and Joan Vives. But if that was all, but we have Elisenda Paluzie, which is the ex-girlfriend of the same mole, who's been put on top of the grassroots organization Assemblea Nacional Catalana. But not only that, she's collaborated in getting me in a mental place and having me tortured. But not only that, she presented a conference in 2014 in which Stephen Noon lied to all of us, saying how, oh, we lost independence because of this and because of that, and we didn't have media, and they put pressure on pensioners. No, you lost it because you didn't do your job. Well, you did your job, but you happened to work for London. You didn't do the job that pro-indie people expected from you, like exit polls, like control of voting, and like not giving them to IDOC. So you, Stephen Noon, are snake in the grass as well. And as head of strategy of Yes, well, it was impossible to win a referendum if your head of strategy works for London, isn't it? But not only that, we've had Shona McAlpin lying to us in a conference organized, yes, by the same Anna Arqué, lying to us saying that there were exit polls and she participated in them. When this book or booklet or pamphlet, or you call it whatever you want, The Dream Shall Never Die, 100 Days to the Referendum, Alex Salmond says literally that I'm sorry, we didn't order exit polls. So we have a book published saying there were no exit polls, and then we have somebody like Shona McAlpin blatantly lying. The unaware people of Barcelona that haven't read the book, don't have access to the book, lying through her nose. And then they took away the microphones when we're challenging her. Vives kind of intimidated us, and Anarchy ran away. These are the things that count in the world. These are the things nobody tells you. Things happening in small rooms where people tell the truth, where people know truth that they're too scared to tell. People are talking to us and they want us to tell the truth because they don't dare telling it. Nothing you see about Catalonia or Scotland in media is true. Nothing except what you hear in this program. And that's why we encourage you not just to listen to every program, but to divulge it, to spread it, to promote it, because that's the only thing we've got. We've also got other contacts here. These people, friends of these moles of Arqué, Elisenda Paluzie and Joan Vives, which happen to be like one the ex-girlfriend, now the present wife, which is peculiar if you ask me, and it's typical of infiltration and typical of agents, like changing and going and exchanging partners like that. Arhumza Yousaf, Gail Lithgow also has been with them. Angus Brendan McNeil has done conferences with Tom Moll and Arqué when he was not too busy doing other things. All these people shouldn't be trusted, and the parties they represent, they shouldn't be voted. They shouldn't be listened to. All that state of things, the referendum in Scotland, and the links we discovered between Scotland and Catalan moles, that's what brought me to start a hunger strike in May 2016 that was, well, it was libeled both in Scotland and Catalonia, saying that I was ready to die, which was not, and saying that I did it for 2 hours a day, and slandering. We said last Tuesday that media can make you love your executioner and hate the one that's fighting for you. That's exactly the case. They make us love traitors like Carles Puigdemont, Clara Ponsati, Oriol Junqueras, the ones in prison, and all of them, which are our executioners in the fact that they work for the enemy, and they've been put against us because we actually work for independence, so they don't want our message to reach any Catalan. So please help this message reach anywhere in the world. We need to break the censorship. And the only way that Catalonia can be independent and thus help Scotland to become independent is that our message gets to the more people in the world we can make it reach. Or else we won't. Or else we won't independent, neither you nor the Catalans. A bit of trying to not be too specific here. One thing that should be kept in mind, some people say, oh, but then if everybody is not an independent. No, it's not everybody. Most people are for independence, but everybody running us works against us. It's like we're a river. We are a river, but they are the dam that doesn't let us reach the freedom in the sea. So there's less. If you look at the surface in a dam, it's much less than the river, but it's placed in a way that the river cannot flow. Well, it's the same thing. These people are just hindrance, just obstacles, but they run every party, every media, every grassroots organization, every social media in Catalonia, and they do it the most effective way. They pretend to be for independence, but they work for Spain. And we have the judge Llarena. This Llarena guy is doing obnoxious things, and then we have videos of a guy running a horse that then another photograph shows with a unionist leader. Everything is so planned, and everything is so blatant. And this guy talks about long live Franco, and I hope Carles Puigdemont gets raped in prison and he gets pregnant. The guy is not very up there with biology and stuff, and they do this video, so we love the traitors. And it's so basic here. We in the Catalan Resistance, we want people to activate the intellectual part of the brain, and Spain want us to keep thinking with our vowels and with our feelings. And they attack the traitors every day. Every day there's attacks on the traitors. So we love the traitors. It's so basic, and it's such a pity that it works every time. To go finding the end, this Judge Llarena is the one that is running all the being put in prison and organizing for Puigdemont to be detained. Some sources say that his father was a Nazi admirer, but I haven't had time to check that. And anyways, it would be the father, but not him. And of course, if what we're talking about were truth, we were the ones that would be screaming blue murder against him. Because what he is doing, if that was real, if that was not part of a script for a film, we're living a film. We already know, we talk about The Truman Show, or Plato's Cave, or The Emperor's New Dress, or all these kind of things. Of course, we would be screaming blue murder. But the whole thing is, he is just an actor, the same way as the people in prison are actors, or the ones in so-called exile, like Clara Ponsati, are actors. Like Carles Puigdemont is an actor that was infiltrated in Catalan politics by Spain, as we already explained in chapter 3, which you might want to review. And it is impossible. They're not such idiots. They should be coordinated. So the fact that Marta Rovira, number 2 in political party Esquerra, runs the same day that 5 of her companions are appearing voluntarily, which is something else. Why should they voluntarily go to Spanish court? Nobody knows. Well, we know because they work for Madrid. So the truth is as follows. Madrid tells Marta Rovira to go. She goes. Then Madrid has the excuse to put the other 5 in prison, using the excuse that they might flee as well. And at the same time, Spain orders Carles Puigdemont to do the most idiotic thing, which is, instead of staying safe in Brussels, to go to do idiotic conferences in Finland and come back through car through Germany. Okay, so they can start. They already had memes ready in German talking about freedom for Puigdemont and these things because they work together. The guys having the memes already have them before Carles Puigdemont is detained, and the moment he's detained, everybody speaks German in Catalonia. Oh, come on. It's such a basic plot. Because the truth is as follows. If you are in exile, one, the country you're in recognizes you as an exiled person, that's one. But second, you don't move for that country because the main reason and your main objective and your main obligation, especially when you're president of a country, is that you don't get picked up by cars far away from where you're hiding it, isn't it? So we have basic animals knowing that they shouldn't venture far away from their nest, but then the president of Catalonia don't know these basic things. I don't think he is such the worst idiot ever. Every week he does something idiotic, so every week we come to the same conclusion. So he is still more idiotic. So if he was in the 1% of more idiotic people in the world, then next week he would be in the 1 per 100,000 people more idiotic. And sorry, but we don't take it. This is the script. Believe nothing you hear or see about Catalonia except Radio Hadrian, what comes from Directe 68 and the Catalan Resistance. We are winning. Hope I haven't offended people, but I wanted to say it. Have we started the program? We are together in this. We are advancing in Catalonia, and then it will be easier to march together for independence of Scotland. Guanyarem.
This has been another update from the Catalan Independentist Resistance from Radio Hadrian. Remember that you can follow us on social media, either on Facebook, YouTube, our Twitter account, Instagram, Google, Telegram, and also on iVoox.